In today's assignment, we're going to be exploring careers in the cybersecurity field. To do this exploration, we're going to visit a website, a government website that lists various jobs that exist within the cybersecurity community. You will enter in this website, register, and then start exploring what are the different careers. I would like you to identify 3 different careers in here that you may find interesting and learn a little bit about them. You're going to collect some information on these careers, and then you're going to use this information to prepare the Word document that is really the main part of this exercise. To start our lab, we are going to start Word and create a new blank document. So here we have a blank document, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to apply a theme. Now a theme, the theme is a collection of structures and formats and colors and different design features that are intended to be harmonious. To apply a theme, we first go to the design group, and in the design group, we're going to look for the themes box. Here it is, and it has a little drop box next to it, and here is our whole collection of available themes. You can also create your own. It's a little bit of an advanced feature, but not very difficult. You can try it sometime later on. So I'm going to move down here to this list. I'm going to look for the Ion theme. Now here's the Ion theme right here. Now when I select the Ion theme, it's going to have different styles that are specific to the Ion theme. When you apply colors, the colors are associated with the Ion theme, and it's intended to be harmonious so that things do not clash. So the big advantage of using themes or prefabricated themes is they work well together. All the design elements work together. You can change dramatically the look of a document by changing the themes. You can experiment on that feature on your own. Now the next thing we're going to do is add a page number. So the design the layout is a little bit different, or the behavior is a little bit different on a Mac or a Windows machine. I'm working right now on a Mac. So if I were to insert a page number, I would go into Insert Page Number, and there's no stylized pages here. So I can just go ahead and select the page number, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of the page. That's where we want it. And we're going to choose the alignment to be on the left side of the page. If this were, and I'm going to click down here, and when I go scroll down, I can see now that I have a page number. If this were a Windows machine, when you click on page number, you're going to be offered a group of styles for the page, and you would select a page style that's called, or number, or page number style that's called plain number 1. So either or, it doesn't matter. The thing is that I want at the bottom in the footer area, I want to have a page number and left aligned. Now this document, I want it to have normal margins. So to apply normal margins, we're going to go to Layout, and we're going to go to Margins. And in Margins, I'm going to select Margins. We're going to look for the normal. And here's the normal group right here. The very first thing that we're going to do is create a paragraph. Now I'm going to turn on my Show button just so that we can see we got a paragraph down there. And one of the things that I like to do when I start a document, insert a few blank paragraphs. But at the end, I always go back to my document and revisit to delete any empty paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, I'm going to type my name. I need to now center this paragraph, and while I'm selecting the paragraph, I have various choices. Remember that you can always look for search if you're in Windows or in Apple, or you can use the little light bulb that's going to be up here. In fact, here's a light bulb right here that, or here's a light bulb that has to tell me. But in this case, I'm in the home group, and under the paragraph grouping, I have these icons over here. And if you start exploring around them and waiting for a little bit, you're going to get a little help. In this case, it says center. That's exactly what we want. Immediately after the title, and that's why I created a few blank ones, is where I'm going to insert my tables. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert this table. I'm going to make it 6 columns wide and 4 rows high. So the way that I insert a table is I go up here and click on insert, and here I click on the table. Now it has a really cool feature where I can draw the table, and we're going to create a table that's going to be 6 columns wide and 4 rows high. So you see I'm going to essentially paint the table like that. And here's my table. Now once I click inside the table, I'm going to get up here a new group. And the group is going to be called Table Design. When I select the Table Design grouping, now I'm going to get a series of different activities here that I can do to change my table. When you go to there, what I want you to do is experiment and choose a particular style that you like. I really don't care. What I do care is that you apply a style. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one right here. No particular advantage or disadvantage to this one. It just, this is the one that I chose for this particular example. So the next thing we're going to do is insert a series of headings. So now as you enter the information, you're going to notice that maybe it's awkward, it breaks in awkward places. Don't worry about that for the moment being, because we're going to make some adjustments to make this look a little bit better. I'm going to continue to type information down here. At this point, it looks pretty ugly. I've entered information all over the place with any particular care about formatting or page breaks or anything like that. So we'll fix that in a minute. We'll see how I can make this a really good looking table. I'm going to switch the view over to a whole document and see what we have. So let's go to multiple pages, and we only have one page. This is the table that we've created right now, our ugly table at this point in time. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to a one-page view, or I'm going to go to the page width view. And here's my first page. And at the bottom of this table, what I'm going to do is insert. I'm going to insert a break to create a second page. But this is different from the page this is going to be different than from breaks that we have done in other labs. In the past, we have done a page break. Here we're going to do a section break. And I'll explain in a minute why the distinction between a page break and a section break. So immediately under the table, I'm going to place my paragraph, my cursor under an empty paragraph. And here I'm going to go now to layout, and I'm going to go to breaks. And in breaks, there's two big sections, a page break that you're familiar with and a section break. So we're going to select a section break, and I'm going to click on it right here. And let's look at our multiple page view, and let's see what our document is looking up now. What our document looks like now. So we have the page. In the first page, we have our table. And the second page is the new page we've created. And here, because I'm choosing to show non-printing characters, and it's by this button over here in the home group, see, I can see that I have a section break. If you choose the wrong one, the wrong break, it would say page break. And here the reason is going to become apparent for the section break instead of a page break. I am going to look at my document view, and I'm going to go to multiple pages. So I have both pages now displayed, and I'm going to click inside the table so that my first page is active. And then this page, I'm going to go to layout. And in layout, I'm going to change the orientation of this page. And the orientation is going to be landscape. And here is where you see the reason why a section break instead of a page break. When you use a page break, the page format is going to be the same. If the page where you're starting off is in portrait mode, the second page is going to be in portrait mode. But here we did a section break. When we do a section break, we have the ability to format one section in one particular way and another section in another way. Now let's visit once again our first page. I'm going to go click on View, and I'm going to change the view to page width. And now you see the table has automatically stretched to fill the new size of page one. So this new size of page one is wide. If I scroll down, you can see it. Here's page one is landscape and page two is portrait. So now I have a little bit of leeway to go ahead and make some changes to make my table look better. So it looks actually pretty good right now. One of the things I'm having, I don't like to see is empty paragraphs. So I'm going to go and clean this up a bit, and that's going to make my table a little bit tidier. Take a look at the page right now. I don't see anything awkward in terms of my table. Everything looks pretty good, but you can make adjustments if you need. If you find that a column is too wide, you can just click between the columns and drag. So here, for example, I can change column widths over here to accommodate things a little bit better. This column has a yes or no, so I can afford to go ahead and make it a little bit tighter and change it around. Make sure that it looks good or it's satisfying to you. By getting rid of empty paragraphs, I've tightened them up a little bit. There was some empty spaces and I got rid of them. So now let's work on page number 2. I'm going to go turn on my show hide, and I'm going to go to the very top. And in the very top, I'm going to start inserting questions. Now I've typed the 4 questions, that you can get them from the instructions. And after each question, I'm going to hit return and enter a new blank paragraph under them, because this is where we're going to put our responses. The instructions ask you to format each question using italics, and the responses must be in a paragraph that's indented. So I'm going to first work with the questions, and I'm going to go to my home tab, and there is an icon for italics. So here's the questions are in italics. I'm going to do the same thing for the other questions. As you can see now, the questions are italic. It's interesting, when I move the cursor emulates a little bit the font, but if I go into text that is italic, you can see how it slants sideways. So here are the 4 questions, and after each one of the questions, I've entered a blank paragraph. That's where I'm going to put my responses in. Now, I've entered responses under each one of the questions. The questions, as you see, are still in italic. I've entered the responses to the questions in normal text. Now I need to format the responses by indenting them, so it makes it more distinctive between the question and the answer. So I'm selecting the whole paragraph, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to indent it 1/2 inch. There's a couple of different ways to do it. So one of the ways to do it is to go to, I can go into right click, and I can go to the paragraph section, and in the paragraph section I can have a left indent. That's what I want to do. I have a left indent of 0.5. So I've indented my first paragraph, my first response to the first question, in by 1/2 inch, by 0.5, and I'm going to do the same with the others. So here are my 4 questions, the 4 responses. The questions, as I mentioned before, italics, and each one of the paragraphs is indented. Each one of the responses is indented 1/2 inch. Okay, the final thing that we need to do is make sure that our spelling is correct and get rid of any empty paragraphs numbers. So let's look at our whole document to see what it looks like. Change our view, go to multiple pages, and here we have the first page. Let me get rid of the home so we get a little bit of the show of the non-printing characters, so we get a better view. Here's my very first page, where it is the result of our research, the 3 jobs that I've identified as being of interest. Remember, you choose your own jobs, and then responses to the questions above. The questions are, and the questions and your responses over here are flexible. Enter the careers that you want, and enter the information that you want, and whether you're interested or not. And then your responses are, of course, individual. So make sure that you follow all the formatting rules and pay close attention to the rubric. That's all I have for this lab. I think you'll have fun with it. It's not very complicated, but it's interesting. Catch you in class. Bye.